she thought it was a bat, so didn't process what was really happening. But that shoe came so close to her face. Had it hit her, it would have been awful. It would have been awful. But this woman is in custody. We don't know a lot about her at this point. But we do know it's hard for me to watch.
Hillary Clinton took that with good humor, but it was a scary moment. As for the woman who did it, no indication of who she is yet. They haven't identified her by name, and no indication as to why she threw that shoe.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton quick with the quip, but that was a scary moment there for a second.
Boy, she handled that quite well, didn't she?
She really did.
We don't know why the woman threw the shoe, but she is facing federal charges.
You know, it was amazing to see how calm she was.
Exactly.
Yeah, she didn't really react much at all and had a great retort, you know.
About Cirque du Soleil.
About Cirque du Soleil, and saying, glad she didn't play softball like I did. Maybe she would have had a better throw.
It was amazing.
Incredible indeed.
Yeah, incredible indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's panel time on the Steve Ballsburg Show, and joining us once again is our friend, former Congressman Pete Hoekstra, and joining us for the first time is Christy Setzer, she Democratic strategist. Hello to both of you.
Hey, good to be with you, Steve.
Glad to have you both. All right, so let's talk about what we just heard and saw, and that was the situation in Las Vegas yesterday. And by the way, Christy, I didn't know that things were so tough for Hillary that she had to speak at a waste management convention. But, you know, I guess if the checks are big enough, she'll do it. But it's funny, you know, that you heard the media response. You heard the media response this morning. That was from the morning shows. Yet when George Bush had a shoe thrown at him back in 2008, at much closer range, and boy, I mean, it was coming right at his head.
Aim, right?
Yeah, well, we had ABC and CBS referring to the shoe thrower as a celebrity, a folk hero who thrilled the Arab world. And when he got out of jail early, David Schuster of MSNBC said, "Good for him." You see a little hypocrisy there?
I'm not going to stand up for shoe throwers of any kind, Steve. I don't think that's an effective way to get your viewpoint across, whether it's against the former president, who I often disagreed with, or Hillary Clinton.
All right, and Pete, I mean, it's just another bit of evidence in the undeniable saga of the double standard and really Bush derangement syndrome, I guess.
Well, I think what it really shows, Steve, is that when you are in a moment of crisis and a shoe is coming at you, you really want Hillary Clinton in charge. And so, you know, in all seriousness, you know, any kind of action directed violence or, you know, directed at a political figure or a business official, you know, we shouldn't tolerate it. But, you know, it's interesting, the comparison here, not only with Bush, but also about her response when, you know, obviously the tragedy that occurred in Benghazi.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Well done, Congressman, for your ability to bring it back to Benghazi so quickly.
Well, we do.
Thank you.
Well, let me bring it back to something that's supposed to be happening. There's the 17th annual Western Healthcare Leadership Convention. Hillary's on the convention circuit in San Diego on April 11th, which I guess is today. And there's this group organizing, including the parents of victims of Benghazi who were killed, and there's not that many parents to go around there. And they have told her she's not welcome in San Diego. A group has formed. They told her to stay away. They were going to protest. And guess what? Hillary's schedule doesn't permit her to be in San Diego. Darn it, she's going to have to do it by, you know, the teleconference or telescreen or whatever they call that. And, you know, it seems like a big coincidence, Christy. Is she avoiding this scenario, the optics of the parents protesting her visit?
She could be. I mean, that's possible. Look, at this point, she doesn't need to do anything. She's not running yet. She's a free woman who can, you know, stay at home and accept the speaking engagements that she wants. She can watch TV when she wants. So I'm not sure, if I were her advance person, why I would want to engage actively at an event where I knew there was going to be a protest and there's the potential for, you know, negative press to come out of it. I mean, to me, that just strikes me as smart, and you know, so I would do the same thing.
All right, and you know, Congressman, they're calling it the Difference Matters protest. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, I enjoy being on with Christy.
Thank you, Congressman.
I like her analysis. I might take a little bit of a different take on it. She does have her choice where she chooses to participate in those types of things. I will, she's the former First Lady and Secretary of State. She has proven herself to be very, very good, in these kinds of environments, dealing with challenges and dealing with protests. It would be very interesting that, she would have gone there, confronted these folks, and dealt with it, and maybe demonstrated that, you're not going to get me on this issue. I'm going to deal with it early, put it behind me, and move on.
Right.
Yeah, well, of course, then she'd have to come, Christy, then she'd have to come face to face with the very parents who she told when the coffins came home at that ceremony, we're going to get the guy who made the video. And she's going to have to answer to that one day as well, because she told it to at least two parents that I've spoken to, of different deceased Benghazi heroes. So I don't know how she's going to get that lived down, or what difference does it make for that matter.
Well, look, I think for a certain segment of the population, there is always this is going to keep coming up as an issue, and this will be a reason to dislike Hillary as Secretary of State or a potential Hillary for president campaign. I don't think it's reflective of the vast majority of Americans. I think that they've, handled it the way that they're going to that they are going to handle it. And we'll see. I think the danger is in assuming that is reflective of the views of a bigger percentage of Americans, most of whom are really tired of hearing about Benghazi from Republicans and really think we have more important things to talk about, like jobs and the economy.
Yeah, well, it would be nice, Congressman, if President Obama, after 5 years, could create some jobs and turn the economy around. But Congressman, how is she going to differentiate herself from this administration's, failures on the economy? Forget foreign affairs, which she played a big hand in all those failures, whether it was Egypt or Russia or the Middle East or Libya or Benghazi, certainly. But when it comes to health care and when it comes to the economy, what is she going to say? Oh, well, if I were president, I would have done this different than Barack Obama.
Well, what she's done is she's given herself, really 3.5 years to slowly start creating some distance between this president, this administration, and their policies. And you see hints of this every once in a while where she's critical or, offers a contrarian view and say, I might do some things different. So she's slowly inching her way away from this administration, but she doesn't want to go too far. I mean, what she wants is she wants to make sure that if she decides to run, that this president still feels close enough to her that there will not be a primary, and that she will have the nomination handed to her, so she will have a good 18 months to run for president without the distraction of having Democrats attacking her and going through a brutal primary, because that is what we will see on the Republican side. It will be a huge advantage for her.
Let me go last word. I know you won't mind, Congressman, since you like being on with Christy so much. Christy, final word, about 30 seconds. Will she get a challenge from the left? Bernie Sanders says, she shouldn't be handed the nomination. He says, let the people speak.
I agree. I agree with Bernie Sanders. I think that it's problematic of Democrats to double, triple, quadruple down on Hillary as the nominee. I think if nothing else, even if she does end up being our nominee, I think there's no problem with having some debate within the party. Maybe someone like Bernie Sanders would bring the conversation a little bit more to the left, and I don't think that would be a bad thing. So I hope she gets a challenger. I do.
All right. Christy.
I agree with Christy and Bernie.
All right, Christy, thank you. And Congressman, thank you. Noah Rothman's next on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax Television.
We don't just talk about the news, we talk to those making news. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.